line, boy, it's time to break it down. Grab a mic, kill the stage, yeah, second nature now. Mama said I make a proud, I told her I made a vow. Just to wait around in the year, I'll put her in a house.
Hey, what's up everybody, this is Nightwing2303 from Nightwing2303.com. Today we have another performance review, and it is on the 2011 Nike Hyperdunk Low. Without wasting too much of your time, let's just go ahead and get right into it. So traction on the Hyperdunk 2011 Low is exactly the same as it was on the High version, as well as the Supreme, as well as the Elite. I really do like the traction. It's full-length herringbone. It's not the best use of herringbone, but it's still pretty good. It's better than the previous version that was on the 2010. 2010 model had a lot of little squares with herringbone in it. These ones have larger squares with more herringbone, so you're getting more coverage on the court as far as the traction surface goes. This particular version, it offered me better traction than the higher cut version that I had played in before, mostly due to the rubber that's used here. The pair that I had played in before was the Blake Griffin Hyperdunks, those, I don't remember what they were called, they were those bright orange ones, and they had a translucent section all the way through the center. While those did, provide ample traction, this was a little bit better as far as indoor courts go, especially upon dusty courts. So I absolutely have no idea why translucent soles don't hold up as well with dust. I'm assuming maybe it's because it's a little bit more porous than a solid rubber, so like that dust kind of like really attracts and sticks to it. Whereas this stuff, if you just wipe it off, you're pretty much good to go. But basically the rubber is nice and sticky. This would also be a decent shoe to play in for outdoor courts, especially if the outdoor court is a rough surface. If you're playing on a very smooth surface that's like painted finished, like a tennis court, you might have some slippage with these, but on a rough surface outdoor court, I think that it'll be fine. And basically traction on these were exactly the same as what I experienced before, so it's very good traction, especially front to back, curling and things like that. You might have some slight slippage, which could cause a little bit of hesitation, but as long as you are able to accommodate your foot strikes, try to plant them within this center here, you should be good to go. Cushion in the Hyperdunk, High, Elite, and the Supremes, you had a heel air, zoom air unit, and then you had a 4-foot zoom air unit. The 4-foot unit is still in place here. There's a little window, and you can see through there. There's a 4-foot zoom bag. It is full length as far as width-wise. And then in the heel, I don't believe there's any cushion in this in the heel. It's just the foam, the Phylon. Me personally, I don't mind either one. For the price that they were priced at, I think it was a little bit over $100. I would have liked to have had, heel zoom, but it's not something that really affected its performance in my opinion. The compression that the foam offered in the heel was very nice, very cushioned in my opinion, and it absorbed quite a bit of impact, and having all of these little ribs here also allowed for some additional compression. It even compressed quite a bit in the 4-foot areas, and I like that as well. Basically the cushion, if you're used to a 4-foot setup like a Hyperfuse or something like that, you're going to do just fine with these. If you absolutely need heel cushion, you probably won't want to go with this model here. Even though I thought that it was adequate enough with just the foam won't last as long as the zoom unit would, and it doesn't have that spring back effect. Hopefully that makes sense, but basically when you step on a zoom unit, it compresses and it goes back into its original shape, whereas foam, the more that it compresses, the air pockets that make the foam up, which is why it's so light, those air pockets start to pop, and that's what ends up breaking down your foam midsole over time. So I thought that it was good enough, especially for a guard, but if you need heel cushion, you're definitely going to want to look elsewhere. As far as the materials go, these are quite a bit thinner than the high top version. The high top version had fused mesh and flywire. These have all of the above as well, but it's kind of stripped down quite a bit. I like the way that these fit my foot a lot better, and it's more flexible along the upper. So out of the regular Hyperdunk version, the high top, I do prefer this one here. If you have the Supreme, it has like a silicone kind of coat over the toe. Those ones are pretty much going to be the same as this as far as like the flexibility. And then if any of you guys have not checked out the Elite Hyperdunk, those have one of the thinnest flywire only uppers. There's no fuse or mesh or anything like that. It's just straight up flywire, and it's very, very thin. Feels very durable. It feels like there's maybe some sort of rubber in it, but basically the Elites have an extremely thin upper. Everything else from the midsole down on the Elite version though is exactly the same as the regular Hyperdunk. It's heel and forefoot cushion, same traction, Phylon. There's no Cushlon or anything special other than maybe the carbon fiber. So as far as this one goes, I did like it. One thing that I did not like is that the fit itself in the forefoot, midfoot was great, but the heel just was greatly lacking. The original version had two little heel notches in there that kind of cup your Achilles. This version is lacking that. I really think that would have greatly have benefited the overall fit of this shoe. I was unable to get a complete heel lockdown, so this would kind of slip off my heel just a little bit, especially upon transition or landing. And as soon as I would hit the forefoot, this would move down a little bit, so I could have potentially injured my ankle. Overall, it's not horrible if you guys wear a brace or you tape up your ankles and things like that. That shouldn't be a problem with these guys here. It'll actually give you a little bit more room. But I would have liked to have had the heel notches in place. And one downside to having such a flexible upper is that the midsole itself, all of this, it's not very flexible at all, which is why they have it shaped upwards like this to make transition a lot easier. However, because it's not as flexible, it doesn't move with your foot. As soon as you stop, that traction does a great job at holding you down in place, but then your foot still moves a little bit inside the shoe, so that thin material is kind of getting buckled. And there was quite a few times when I landed extremely hard on my forefoot, not from jumping, just from a quick stop, and the material, you just feel it fold over like that while the entire shoe stays planted. So in that sense, you know, maybe all of those extra layers on the higher version were a little bit better, but I do like to have some sort of flexibility in here. However, if the shoe was a little bit more flexible, I think that it would have greatly improved everything overall. And then again, if there was some heel notches in place, I think that the heel lockdown would have been a lot better than what it was. As far as ventilation is concerned, it's fairly close to the original. I feel like these have a little bit more ventilation. In the forefoot here, it's pretty much the same as the original. It's just in a different place. Originals were a little bit more centered, and these ones are a little bit over to the exterior part of the shoe. But there's a lot of ventilation right here. There's a bunch of little cutouts, and then same thing along the upper here. There's a bunch of little triangle cutouts, and there is nothing restricting it whatsoever. So it's just a very nice mesh all the way through. It gives you plenty of airflow, and this is something that I personally like. And then the tongue itself is pretty much exactly the same as the other version, where it's very thin, very light and airy. You can see through it. It offers a good amount of ventilation, and I thought the ventilation was pretty much above average. Not perfect, but it definitely is above average. So as far as support is concerned, basically you have a TPU shank. The higher version had a glass-based carbon fiber, and then you also have a TPU heel cup. It offers decent amount of support. This more so. It gives you a little bit of rigidness under your foot, so you're not over flexing your arch. This cup right here, it could have been better if the heel was just, you know, had a better fit. Like I said, those heel notches would have been a very nice touch, or to have had maybe a secondary lace hole a little bit further back. That way you can really loop and pull that ankle into place, making it stay secure in the heel cup. Because as of right now, the way that everything is set up without the heel notches and with the current lacing system, there's nothing really drawing your foot back into the heel bed right here, so the cup is fairly useless other than being able to retain that heel shape, which does count as support quite a bit, but not enough to where it would be something significant. So that's pretty much it as far as support goes. The materials are not as supportive as the higher cut version, but It is what it is, and I did enjoy this one a little bit more than the higher cut. I do feel that the higher cut definitely was better with the fit overall, though. Alright guys, so that pretty much takes care of the review on the Nike Hyperdunk 2011 Low. Overall, I thought it was a good shoe. Definitely caters a little bit more towards guards versus the higher cut. A Hyperdunk is very versatile, so anywhere from a 1 all the way up to a 4 can use these comfortably. They make the Air Max Hyperdunks for 5s, or even some 4s that prefer maximum cushion, which would be from the 360 bag that they featured. These ones lack a little bit in cushion. The fit was a little bit sloppy in the heel. I thought that the higher cut version was a lot better, not because of its height, but just because of the heel notches, and it just cut the Achilles a lot more than what this one offered. So overall, I think that these are a decent shoe. They could be priced a little bit lower for what they do actually offer you. But if you're looking for something that has good range of motion in your ankle, that's a little bit lightweight and has adequate cushion, especially in the forefoot, this is definitely a good option for you. So that pretty much takes care of everything. If you guys need to view the performance scores, you can go to my site, nightwing2303.com. There will be a link down below in the description box. And thank you guys very much for all the support. Until next time, guys, have a good one.
Boy, it's time to break it down. Grab a mic, kill the stage, yeah, second nature now. Mama said I make a